Hello and welcome back, day 24. Now today we're going to do two things. We're going to check your work from yesterday, from the previous lesson, to see if you got it correct. But more importantly, we're going to move on to what's known as JavaScript conditionals. Now a conditional is a special type of statement that checks if a certain condition has been fulfilled, and based on that the programming language needs to act in a certain way or to conduct a certain number of tasks. Now specifically in this case, there's a simple condition that we're going to check. Did the user put in the correct answer? Yes. If yes, do something. If no, do something else. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. And as much as we do it in English, we use the word if in English. In most programming language, well, pretty much every programming language, we use the exact same word. If, do this, else, do that. So you'll notice that conditionals are very similar to normal, natural spoken languages, except there's a whole lot of brackets and things, but I'm sure you've gotten used to all that. So without delay, let's get down to it. Okay, so looking at the remainder of the variables, you would have something like this, perhaps identical to this. So you'll have three new variables, answer 2, answer 3, answer 4, and then they'll be very similar to the previous one, document.getElementById, and then the names will be q1, q2, q3, q4 dot value. Now those IDs correspond to the IDs that we gave the text input boxes, q1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so moving on. Now, as I said earlier, we're going to use a statement called if. Now let's start coding it in. So we're going to say if, and in round brackets, answer 1, that is this variable. So we're going to check this variable first, and then we're going to say equals equals. Now we use the double equals to do a comparison, to check if what's on the left side is equal to what's on the right side. And we put in the correct answer. And then curly braces. Okay, let's take a look at it again. What have we done? If, round brackets, this variable, answer 1, remember answer 1 contains what the user typed in. So the moment the user hits submit, the value that the user typed into the first text box is captured and put into this variable called answer 1. Now here we're checking if the value that's inside answer 1 is Madiba. Is it correct? Is the answer correct? Then we'll put out an alert. And that alert will say correct. Just testing for now. Else, curly braces, open and close. So if, do this, else, do that. Now let's cut this guy. Let's remove this guy from here and paste him inside those curly braces. Look, there's a lot of curly braces going on here. You just have to be careful. And the good thing is brackets actually helps you. When you click on open curly braces, brackets highlights the closed curly braces for you, and vice versa. If you click on any brace, brackets will highlight its partner. Now what will happen if you forget to put a brace? Like say for example here I've deliberately removed my brace there, the curly brace. So now this one looks fine. Brackets found the next one that was suitable, but since that one was for my function, you'll see when I click on the curly brace next to my function declaration, it's gone. There's no partner. Okay, so let's put that curly brace back there. Okay, so let's double check what we are doing again. If answer 1 is that, then put out a box on the screen that says correct. Otherwise, put a box that says incorrect. All right, so correct and incorrect. Now let's save this and head off into the browser. Time to test. So I'm going to first try the correct answer. I hit submit and it gives me correct. Now let's try a different one. Try Tom and incorrect. You see that? So that logic is coming from behind the scenes. It's coming from here. If the answer is Madiba, then correct. Otherwise, incorrect. Now, the last thing we're going to do is, instead of alerting this into a pop-up box, we're going to display it on the screen. Now, you remember when we were making our form, we put in the paragraph, we put in the text input box, and below that we put in an empty paragraph. You remember these empty paragraphs? So these empty paragraphs are going to contain, they're going to display rather, the result, correct or incorrect. Now look at the ID of this paragraph here, Q1-result. So we are going to target this one in our JavaScript. Now what's this? I'm going to remove this alert and I'm going to use document.getElementById Q1-result, and at the end dot inner HTML. That means the HTML that's going to go inside there is going to be the word correct. Else, same thing, but we're going to output something different. So again, document.getElementById. See how brackets helps you out. Q1-result dot inner HTML is equal to, let's just give the user a big X if the answer is incorrect. Okay, save this. Head off into the browser. You have to refresh here, and let's try the correct answer first. There we go. Instead of showing a pop-up box, it's showing the answer right there in the form. Let's try the incorrect option, and there we go. There's an X right there. So let's take a look at this code again. If the answer the user typed is exactly this, Madiba, then output the word correct in Q1-result. That is this empty paragraph here. So now this empty paragraph is no longer going to be empty. It's going to have the word correct in there. And if the answer is not Madiba, else, the else scenario is if it's not, if this condition is not true, then output a big X right there. Now that's all the logic that you're going to need to check the remainder answers. And just as with yesterday, where I allowed you to fill in the remainder of the lines of code, I think I'm going to do the same thing again. So this is what we're going to do. You are going to now put in 3 more if statements. The next one is going to check answer 2. If answer 2 is equal to, and you put in the answer. Now what are the correct answers here? In which continent is Bulgaria? That's Europe. What is an orca a type of? That's dolphin. And the closest star to the earth is the sun. So you're going to put in the correct answers. All right, and then you're going to test your work. And tomorrow, which is our final lesson, we are going to check together what was the outcome, whether you got your work correct or not. So let's leave it at that for now. If you've come this far, well done. You are really, really awesome. And we'll talk in the next lesson.